96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. The PLP reimbursing the government for the Bermuda flight. Copy of checks show the reimbursement after the Prime Minister returned. The post-COVID fiscal policy must strike a balance between austerity and stimulus, according to the Economic Affairs Minister. And a prisoner dies in the hospital. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Wednesday, October 26th, 2022. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Chester Robards will be joining us. Also this morning, we'll be meeting some amazing students from the Lifer Key International School. They've achieved some greatness, so they'll tell us all about that this morning. And later, in Morning Blend Business, it's our twice-monthly series with the Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center, and we're going to get a preview of MSME Month coming up in November for micro, small, and medium enterprises. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, the PLP making public pictures of a check and a receipt showing that it reimbursed the Office of the Prime Minister and ultimately the Public Treasury for Prime Minister Philip Davis's flight to Bermuda, where he addressed a political convention. Davis and a delegation of PLP and government officials went to Bermuda last Wednesday and returned Thursday. The receipt is dated October 21st, the day after the Prime Minister and his delegation came back. Office of the Prime Minister Director of Communications, Latrey Ramming, said on Friday that the PLP paid for the trip, but at no point did he say the Office of the Prime Minister paid for it and had been or would be reimbursed by the party. Ramming telling reporters at an OPM press conference that the trip was covered by the PLP and that all questions pertaining to the trip should have been deferred to the organization. Non-government officials who are members of the PLP accompanied the Prime Minister, as well as cabinet members and bureaucrats. The Prime Minister spoke during the convention of Bermuda's ruling Progressive Labour Party. Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell is also the chairman of the PLP and accompanied the Prime Minister on the trip, told supporters in a message Friday that it was a standard official visit to another country, with the Prime Minister traveling there at the invitation of Bermuda Premier David Burt, who is also the president of Bermuda's PLP. Speaking to the country's fiscal policy options in the aftermath of the COVID pandemic, Economic Affairs Minister Senator Michael Halkita saying that the Davis administration is faced with striking a delicate balance between austerity and finding resources to fund a stimulus or expansionary fiscal program. Halkitas was the featured speaker during the University of the Bahamas Government and Public Policy Institute lecture series. He said the balance is even more challenging considering the limitations relating to taxing a recovering economy and borrowing. Nearly a year after the completion of the 11th actuarial review for NIB, the National Insurance Board, calling for immediate action, including a rate increase, the government has yet to decide which of any of the recommendations it will adopt. That's according to the State Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Miles Larota. When asked for an update on the government's considerations, Larota, who has responsibility for NIB, telling reporters that the situation is, quote, fluid. He says they've discussed the report in its entirety, but no decision has been made as yet on which part, if any, they're going to act on at this time. As many as 30% of Bahamian women are victims of rape in long-term relationships. That's according to a newly published University of the Bahamas study. The study noting that the results from the study are in broad agreement with the estimates for marital rape reported from the USA. The study also noting that the study gives estimates of the lifetime experience of rape within long-term relationships and does not attempt to estimate the occurrence of rape of women only within marriage. That study, well, at least another one at the University of the Bahamas, finding that more people in the Bahamas who identify as Christian believe it's acceptable to use corporal punishment on children than those who do not identify as Christian. However, a minority of both groups surveyed said that corporal punishment should be illegal in the Bahamas. An assessment of the groundwater conducted in Grand Bahama earlier this year found that the water was still not drinkable more than 2 years after Hurricane Dorian. The study, Potable Water and Terrestrial Resources on Grand Bahama Post-Hurricane Dorian, released by the University of the Bahamas yesterday, its study sites were at 2 well fields, which are located in western Grand Bahama. Prior to Dorian, 95% of the drinking water was sourced from these 2 wells, 35% from well W1 and 60% from W6, according to the study. And a prisoner at the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services died in hospital after an altercation with another prisoner at the facility. That altercation happened earlier in the month. The prisoner died yesterday, according to Acting Commissioner of Corrections, Don Clare. Clare telling the media that they had a, quote, mental inmate who was involved in a fight about 2 weeks ago with another, quote, mental inmate, and that the inmate suffered a head injury. He was taken to hospital. He was there for about 2 weeks and passed away. He said the prisoner who died was locked up for a stealing charge. He said he did not want to say more about the other inmate. Overseas, Zimbabwe says it's on the brink of its biggest wheat harvest in history, thanks in part to efforts to overcome food supply problems caused by the war in Ukraine. But bushfires and impending rains are threatening crops yet to be harvested. Like other African countries, Zimbabwe has for decades relied on imports to offset low local production. After Russia's invasion of Ukraine resulted in global shortages and price hikes, the country wanted to ensure self-sufficiency at all costs. The country expects to harvest 380,000 tons of wheat, which is 20,000 more than they require as a country, according to the Deputy Agriculture Minister. That is up from about 300,000 tons produced last year. While other hunger-stricken African countries are struggling with reduced wheat imports due to the war in Ukraine, Zimbabwe is looking at using its anticipated surplus of the grain to build a small strategic reserve for the first time in history. This would cushion Zimbabwe against future shocks. And And from China, the city of Shanghai has started administering an inhalable COVID-19 vaccine today in what appears to be a world first. The vaccine, a mist that is sucked in through the mouth, is being offered for free as a booster dose for previously vaccinated people. That's according to an announcement on an official city social media account. Scientists hope that such needle-free vaccines will make vaccination more accessible in countries with fragile health systems because they are easier to administer. They also may persuade people who don't like getting a shot in the arm to get inoculated. China wants more people to get booster shots before it relaxes strict pandemic restrictions that are holding back the economy and are increasingly out of sync with the rest of the world. As of mid-October, 90% of Chinese were fully vaccinated and 57% had received a booster shot. In sports, the CNS Enterprise Hitmen scoring 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning to repeat as the New Providence Softball Association men's champions. They took care of the Cybertech Blue Marlins 5-2 to win the best-of-5 series 3-2 at the Blue Hill Sporting Complex, Bankers Field last night. Legendary pitcher Edney the Heat Bethel pitched for the Hitmen and carted off the Most Valuable Player award with 10 strikeouts on the night to come away with 48 strikeouts in the series. Thomas Davis pitched for the Blue Marlins. You can read more about it in today's Guardian Sports section. And a Russian court rejecting an appeal by U.S. basketball star Brittany Griner of her 9-year prison sentence for drug possession, a step that could move her closer to a possible high-stakes prisoner swap between Moscow and Washington. The 8-time All-Star center in the WNBA with the Phoenix Mercury and a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, convicted August 4th after police say they found vape canisters containing cannabis oil in her luggage at Moscow's airport. The 32-year-old Griner was not at the Moscow Regional Court hearing, but appeared via video link from a penal colony outside the capital where she's being held. At her trial, Griner admitted to having the canisters in her luggage, but testified she packed them inadvertently in her haste to make her flight and had no criminal intent. Her defense team presented written statements saying she's been prescribed cannabis to treat chronic pain. The 9-year sentence was close to the maximum of 10 years, and Griner's lawyers argued after the conviction that the punishment was excessive. They said in similar cases, defendants received an average sentence of about 5 years, with about a third of them granted parole. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. And your first look at weather for today. We've got a weak pressure pattern along with mostly dry and stable conditions that will prevail across the islands today. Mariners should be alert, though, for the slight threat of waterspouts or funnel cloud activity. For all areas today, look for partly sunny and pleasant conditions with a chance of a brief passing shower or two, becoming mostly fair and mild with a stray shower or two possible tonight. Winds northwest to north at 10 to 15 knots in the northwest and central Bahamas, becoming variable at 5 to 10 knots across the southeastern islands. Seas 2 to 4 feet in the northwest and central Bahamas, but 1 to 3 feet in the southeastern part of the country. 75 degrees right now under fair skies in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 87 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook and look at the tropics coming up after traffic in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up.
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Link up with BTC.
Did you get the speed bump? All BTC subscribers with a bundled fiber connection receive the speed increase. Totally free and totally automatic. It's just another way of ensuring that we are delivering best value to our customers, keeping them on the leading edge of everything awesome. Link up with BTC to get your speed bump today. Visit any BTC store or btcbahamas.com to learn more.
With all the fiber you need. Link up.
Fidelity's free Women Plus seminar is back. Join us on Saturday, October 29th at the Bahama Convention Center, where leading professionals will give you the hard facts on topics like
How to Be Rich 101, how your mental and emotional health impact financial health, and what I wish women knew about men,
and how to get their money. This free, life-changing event is for women and men. The seminar includes breakfast, 8 sessions, plus over $8,000 in prizes and surprises. Registration and breakfast begins at 8 a.m., with sessions from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Space is limited, so register now for free at fbbwomenplus.com.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up. It's a new day. Wake up. It's a new day. Wake up. It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, wake up.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions, on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at morningblend969 or facebook.com/morningblend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Chester Robards.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Great to have you with us.
Glad to be here.
Hope all's well.
A blessed day, my friend.
Last Wednesday in October.
Yeah. Time has flown.
Boxing Day, 2 months from today.
Wow. That's true.
You ready?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Coming up this morning, folks, we have we're going to meet some special students from the Lifer Key International School. They've been doing some wonderful things, and we're going to find out more about them and learn more about the school. They've got some open house events coming up. That's coming up in our 8 o'clock hour. Then in our 9 o'clock hour, Morning Blend Business, we are talking with A2SBDC, that's Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center. November, which is just days away, is MSME month. MSME, Chester?
MSME? Oh, micro small, medium-sized enterprises.
There you go. We're going to be talking about that and what they're going to be doing to celebrate them next month, this morning. So that's all straight ahead. But first, it's time for the what else is making waves in the news. And in the news, the big headline in the National Guardian today, PLP reimburses government for Bermuda flight. Copy of a check circulated yesterday. The PLP put it out there to show they have paid for this Bermuda trip, but it's dated the day after everybody got back from the trip. So it's a reimbursing. But anyway, they paid for it, or is that not? Or did they? I don't know. What do you make of it? So the PLP made those pictures. They posted it. And the receipt is dated October 21st, the day after the Prime Minister's delegation got back. Now, last week when asked about this, Office of the Prime Minister, Director of Communications, Trey Ramming, said that the PLP paid for the trip, but at no point did he say that the Office of the Prime Minister paid for it and that the party would reimburse the Office of the Prime Minister. And so, hey. The check, by the way, drawn from a First Caribbean International Bank account and for $24,750. And you remember all the people who went on this trip to celebrate the anniversary for the PLP of Bermuda, Progressive Labor Party.
Right.
We're told is the PLP's sister political organization. And so
I see some jokes rolling in already.
Yeah.
People asking the government, let me hold on something to go on vacation. I'm gonna pay you back.
Pay you back, right? Who do you ask, the government or the PLP?
Well, the government.
One and the same.
Money came from the government.
One and the same when they're in. So remember everybody went. It was the Prime Minister. It was Trey Ramming. It was former Prime Minister Perry Christie.
Everyone in this picture?
Maybe more. PLP.
Well, some people cut off.
You're right. PLP Secretary General Barbara Cartwright. PLP member Telia Saunders, member, okay. Minister of Transport and Housing, Jo Beth Colby Davis, why was the Minister of Housing and Transport go? Minister of State, Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister, Miles LaRota, Parliamentary Secretary Leon Lundy, PLP Senators Barry Griffin and Quentin Lightburn, OPM Policy Advisor Kevin Simmons, OPM Permanent Secretary Creswell Stirrup, and their aides. How many aides? We don't know, but they all went.
There's something about political people and delegations. It's almost like a contest.
To see who can have the biggest one?
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's almost as if you don't have a big one, you ain't saying nothing.
You are nothing. Yeah. So you and I, we could go away for 2 weeks just by ourselves, right?
Right.
But no, you're going for 2 hours. You have to have a big crew.
And I didn't know that. And it was funny because when the Jamaican Prime Minister came to open Sandals, our Prime Minister joked at the opening ceremony about his small delegation. And I was like, wait, this is a thing?
How small was it?
I think it was about 4 people.
Oh boy, Jamaica, do better.
Exactly. And I was like, he was like,
did everyone laugh?
Yeah, because he did the little finger thing. He's like, you're very small delegation. And I was like, what is that? Why is he doing this?
You've insulted us by bringing just so few people along with you. Well, now you know.
It's a thing.
So that was a show of force.
That's what it is.
The Bahamas to Bermuda. We got plenty people.
That's right. Backing us. I hope it was also because they wanted to show them what a small island should look like. Clean.
Yes.
Well run.
Yes.
I hope they brought some of that back.
Functioning local government.
Functioning local government.
Mm-hmm. Local government. Tiny Bermuda. Tiny Bermuda. I think they have two different local government districts.
Yeah. Their over the hill area is the size of a lane.
You sure they have one of those?
It's almost unnoticeable.
It's like what? Paradise Island.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, they got a lot of money over there. Are they? Isn't it more?
Apparently, we got a lot of money over here too.
Oh, okay. Well, some people.
Yeah.
But I mean, don't they have? No, they don't count it like that. But, hey. Oh well. Anyway, hopefully lessons have been learned here. What do you think? I think not, but hopefully. Got a call. Let's take this. I'm afraid to take it, but let's do it. And you can call it as well. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Your tiny delegation. You use the word tiny?
He said you're very small.
Very small. Yeah. Maybe they were short. No?
Short of people.
Oh, boy. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, this is Doc Universe along with you and Chester, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Dwight, I got a twofold question for you, right? I got 2 questions in all. But what I want to say, there is various parts of Nassau that are clean or be cleaned up. You all should check it over the hill. Okay, now my question is, here it is. I want to know why the after effect or the afterthought for the check. Okay? My other point is, right, we building this, how can we build a country with blood flowing all over the street? Are we trying to get it as high as the horse rider? What's happening? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. What was the last thing? What high is the horse
bridle? I never heard that.
Oh, okay.
I might use that.
Interesting. And yes, the murder count is high, but I mean, is that fair to say blood flowing all over the streets? I mean, yes, and it happens when you, Okay. But yes, sure, that's a good question.
And I don't know if we know that the check was an afterthought.
Well,
but
no, we don't know.
We're left to speculate.
Yeah. And yes, was it written right after that press conference on Friday?
Right.
So, but you got to do what you have to do to bring down the temperature of the pressure, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm sure you can figure that one out. Let's read some messages before we move on. I want to move on to some other things in the news. This person says here, why would the PLP pay for an official trip? None of this makes sense. I don't see the big deal, but all of the obfuscation really makes you wonder. Well, why? The question is...
Was it an official?
Right. And why was it an official trip?
It was an official party trip.
Well, what was the word that Fred Mitchell used again? I can never remember it because it's so strange. But a goodwill trip, I think he said. A goodwill trip.
It's a mix-up trip.
So the thing is, they're fine. The PLP can do what they want, right? PLPs can go to attend things, and there are members in the government who are PLPs, of course. But there are some people there on this trip who you have to question why they went, because... Right, your position isn't quite a political one, right? So why were you there?
Right,
and so that's where it becomes odd. This one says here, Dwight, the PLP, the party paid for their own trip for once. Why are we making a big deal of that trip? It didn't cost taxpayers. That is good. Well, we're now finding that out, Texter. It wasn't clear before. Right, we were hearing different things.
Right.
And now we see a receipt dated after the trip. So the government did pay and was reimbursed. So that's all.
Which is
and so it's
strange.
That is right. So don't act like that's nothing.
So it's almost like it ain't like you had to use your credit card because you only had it right then, and then you paid it back over time. Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Was that the full amount?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Well, that's a good question. That's check number one.
Maybe.
I don't know. But this person says here, this is why they repealed the Procurement Act without even obeying it. They don't want any accountability. Surprised they didn't repeal the Fiscal Responsibility Act. Y'all didn't realize yet this person keeps saying this. They sent this yesterday. I didn't read it because it didn't make sense to me. Is this what you mean to say? They run the country like they're running Gambier House. Oh, you mean their place?
Oh.
See, yesterday it didn't make any sense.
Okay.
I'm like, what? Oh, like it's their headquarters. Is that what it's called anymore? They call it now this Linden Pindling. Okay, I get it. Thank you, Texter. Took me a couple days to figure out what you're saying. I'm like, why are you insulting the good people of Gambia like this? Do you mean gambler? I'm like, okay. I get it. We're trying to let in as... oh, okay. This is to Brayman's point. No. We rebuke this. Statement. We're trying to get it as high as a giraffe's nookie. I don't know. Was it nookie? What is... That's the neck, right?
I hope so. A draft?
Giraffe.
Oh.
Wait, that's not the neck? Oh, boy. Okay. This is nothing to laugh at. We're talking about bloodshed. This is not cool. Okay. Anyway.
Wow.
Boy. Google that.
No, I'm not. I know who's not pleased.
Oh, dear.
Limp Bizkit is not pleased.
What? That's not appropriate.
It's the name of a band.
Yeah, but I want a breakdown of the cost, this is a text, for everything and everyone. Travel, food, accommodations per diem that matches the check amount. Interesting. Brayman's comment was in relation to Revelation 14. Verse 20, and the wine press was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the wine press, even unto the horse bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. Yeah, we get it. But we were trying to say whether we agree that there was that amount of bloodshed. But yes, it is a very high number for such a small country to have what we are seeing, without a doubt. This person says here, the PLP's unintentional mistakes about the Bermuda trip. One, there was no immediate national update regarding the purpose, agenda, objective of the Bermuda trip. Update that we should have been informed before, right? Like, hey, we got a delegation going, and these are who will be going, and this is what they're going to do, and why. Anyway, Number 2, there was no immediate reasonable update as to why the PM's plane was delayed on the tarmac, which resulted in the aircraft. Okay. And political mischief speculation. Number 3, there was no distinction, I think you're trying to say, lots of words missing from your text. No distinction regarding whether the trip was a political party social event or a government-to-government official visit, particularly since the trip was apparently based on the acronym and the connection to Bermuda's political party, PLP. And 4, there was no, how many are there? Oh, good Lord. Oh, no, come on now. 12? Wow.
Well, I'll tell you.
You don't want me to finish reading?
Sorry.
It's
yes.
12.
Oh.
Yeah. 4, there was no immediate explanation as to the accompanying of various non-governmental personnel, but political party officials as well. 5, the seemingly public disagreement as to who was responsible or paid for the trip by the director of the communications and the PLP party chairman. 6, the flippant dismissal of the media by the director of communications when asked, go ask the PLP, when he said go ask the PLP. 7, the signature of Jerome Fitzgerald on the receipt, knowing that the public, okay, yep. Number 8, the apparent late payment or commitment to pay of the PLP after national criticism. It made it seem as if they never intended to pay. 9, the apparent partial payment of the total bill. We don't know about that, but
I was going to say.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That was the most affordable private flight I've seen.
For all those people.
On that size plane.
Yeah, and then what about the hotel? What about the transportation? Yeah. Unless Bermuda put them up somewhere. 10, the
PLP put up the PLP.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they even have a Gambier house. I don't know. Number 10, the non-inclusion of the rented plane bill receipts, just an arbitrary total payment. 11, the idea that Bermuda News has more detail about the Bahamas' PM trip than the Bahamian media. In fact, Bermuda suggested it was an official visit with Bahamian ministers entertaining possible official agreements between the two countries. 12, a pink government receipt with the Office of the Prime Minister seal stamped on it has the date October 29th, 4 days in the future from this point, saying that they received a check payment from the PLP. Well, we don't believe that part. I mean, that was definitely after. But you raised some very good questions. A lot of people wondering the same things. Let's take this final call on this. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, caller. Good morning. Are you there? No. Okay. All right. And just these final messages as we move on. Good morning. If the British Prime Minister is removed for a party during COVID, what will happen in the Bahamas in this matter? You're jokey. And that's why everybody goes on trips here. So it's not just one person doing their own thing. Everybody's involved. And so who could point a finger at one for doing such a thing? But please, the only similarities between us and the British in governance are what, that we speak English? Yeah, I think. And barely. Good morning, gentlemen. When the PLP came to power, their motto is it'll be done intentionally and deliberately. Okay.
What?
I don't know. The power of the people through the press was demonstrated in this situation. Let's keep holding them accountable. Another one.
A nice thing about the press for once.
This person says here, Dwight, you're going on a personal trip, paying your personal money to travel. You have no explanation for the Guardian. People are entitled to their personal trips. Yeah, this was not what that was, Texter.
What?
What are you saying? What?
Anyway. I just want that same rate to rent their jet, to be honest.
How many people are you going with?
That don't matter.
A small delegation?
That don't matter.
Got to show people who you are. Got to have the big crew.
You don't rent a private jet per person, as far as I know.
I don't. Well, who knows? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know these things.
I've looked it up.
Yeah?
You know.
Look at you.
Everybody dreams of it, you know. I've looked up a yacht, too. See how many friends I got to pile on to pay for it.
I don't waste time. no, it's not going to happen. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. How are you guys this morning?
Doing well.
Well, the trip was a one-day trip, right? And it was paid for by the Progressive Liberal Party. I understand what you guys are saying, but I don't see the big issue because now you have to check to prove that the trip was paid for by the party. It shouldn't be a big issue anymore because in the former administration, they went on many trips, and they have yet to produce any receipts of the trips that they went on, and they took extravagant and large group of people. Have they ever produced a receipt for the Bahamian public?
Remember now, no one ever said the F&M paid for the trips or whatever you're talking about.
No,
it was
I'm not
always
saying
government.
you, sir. Have they ever produced any receipts for any trip? Because sometimes you guys and all ask them who paid for the trip and how much the trip was worth, and all that. You remember?
Well, maybe if the reason for the trip seemed odd, we would have asked.
Well, what you mean the reason for the trip seemed odd? Do you think the reason for this trip was odd?
It wasn't clear what it
wasn't clear,
was.
right.
Now it is clear, right?
Is it?
Well,
it still isn't really clear.
OPM still footed the money up front for the trip that the BLB eventually paid for. Is that not something you should question?
You see how when they were going to the COP conference, how they had the press conference before about what they're going to be doing and who's going to be going. You remember that?
Yeah.
And they have press briefings every week now.
Right.
So we expected that kind of thing. Like, hey, we're going to be sending a delegation to Bermuda. This is why. This is what we're going to be doing, right? And it is an official trip. We didn't know anything about it till afterward, and it was unclear what type of trip it is. It's still unclear. Was it an official trip? Was it a political trip? What was it?
Right. Was it a government of the Bahamas trip? Was it a progressive Liberal Party trip?
And the texter sent a great...
That makes a difference.
Right? Did you sign agreements? Are you looking at partnerships between the two countries? What is it? We still don't really know. So, no, caller. There's still lots of questions. It's very bizarre. And on that check, again, as people say, well, what was that check for? Does it really cover everything? There's still lots of questions, and you all keep bringing up old stories.
The plane, so that I could go and get that rate.
Well, you might have to show up with some other people to get that rate. I don't know. But hey, all right. I really don't want to linger on this much longer, but we'll take this final call on this. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, sir. Good morning to all.
Hi. Good morning.
One question: Do you think the DMC, the Democratic Party, will go in and go to a Labor Party event in the United States? The leaders of the Labor Party will go to a Labor Party event in the United States?
I have no idea.
I mean, that's. I feel that will not be proper.
Why?
Because it doesn't happen. We've never heard of such event.
I mean,
The entire leadership of the party.
What? I don't know.
So my question is, what you need to ask the not the PLP, but the government, the PLP members in government, right? What the trip was about. Without all the speculation, just go put the mic in their face, the press secretary. Go to him. He should be readily available for such questions.
I don't know. I guess you're not paying attention. He was at his boss, the director of communications was asked, and was the one who told us to go to the PLP. So you're not listening. That was done. It was paid for by the PLP. That was a PLP trip to ask all the questions about it to the PLP. So
who's the PLP?
Well, they went to Fred Mitchell, the chairman.
Oh, okay.
But we still don't have any official statement where we see what Bermuda is saying. So odd all around. Very odd. But okay, and I don't know what the point was really the caller was making, but who knows what they do, and what does that mean if they do or they don't? What does it mean anything? If the Democrats would, I don't think it does.
Yeah, I didn't understand.
I don't get what. Okay. Anyway, there's nothing wrong with trying to forge alliances and come
No,
to
not
agreements
at
and
all.
partnerships. It's great. We have bonds. We can learn from you. Remember when we had this in Eriku, and this is what we did about it, and you all could do this if you want to avoid it. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Great. We could be, that's what is the issue. But just be upfront with it. They're coming to celebrate our anniversary. We're going to celebrate theirs.
Yeah.
We're cool with each other, and we learn from each other.
And Bermuda's a great place to go to.
Clearly, a lot of people want to go.
I loved it.
So that's not an issue. None of this would be an issue if they just tell us what it was.
That's always part of the problem. The communication after the fact is always a problem.
Okay.
It's almost like you turn on the light and you catch the giraffe.
Hmm?
Yeah,
You're doing this again?
I don't know.
Hmm?
Neck.
The giraffe neck.
Yeah. Sticking about the roof. Yeah.
As we go to the break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Morning, Chester.
Hi, good morning.
Very short here. A lot of this, people are trying to talk about after the fact. We know whenever you do questionable things, there will be speculations and innuendos. And I would thought by now that these political parties would learn what to do and what not to do. It's very important for the Bahamian people to understand and know personally when their prime ministers leaving the country. Okay? I'm sure there's a planning stage, and they haven't done that. So there's the speculation. Secondly, you're talking about paying for the trips and stuff. All of that should have been laid out before the contingent actually left this country. And thirdly, after the fact, it now breeds speculation because now it seems more like a cover-up to try and recover the perception of the Bahamian people after this thing has already left the gate, that now they're trying to say that the political party paid for the trip instead of using the taxpayers' money for the whole contingent. So they actually created a firestorm all unto themselves. They need to do a better job with communications, communicating to the Bahamian public so we could understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you very much. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, a lot more of what's making news on this Wednesday morning. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
A three-ring circus, what a bunch of clowns. They're joking and they're jiving, but they're messing around. We got some jokey leaders, what a bunch of clowns.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Are you an attorney with a joint practice operating from one location? Accepting payments from clients doesn't have to be complicated.
Introducing RBC MultiPay. Now each attorney can securely accept and settle payments with one point-of-sale device supporting multiple bank accounts.
With competitive pricing, training, and easy setup, you will be up and running in no time.
Call 356-8500 to sign up for RBC MultiPay.
.43, time for your first look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments, there's one Visa Classic credit card. In your real-time traffic this morning, we are seeing some heavy traffic on Mila Butler Highway, as usual, from Fire Trail up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway in the northbound lanes there. And that's causing some delays and backed-up traffic along Fire Trail eastbound and westbound to the roundabout. Over on Glaston Road is also busy, just north of Fire Trail, all the way up to John F. Kennedy Drive this morning. Building traffic on Blue Hill Road, just north of Soldier Road, on the way to the roundabout with Independence Drive, and Independence Drive westbound is busy for you at this hour. And some building traffic on East Street between Soldier and the roundabout at East West Highway and Independence Drive. Elsewhere, we've got Robinson Road between Soldier and Old Trail westbound, seeing some heavy traffic there, and pockets along Prince Charles Drive at the major intersections like Beatrice Avenue and near Fox Hill Road, and especially near Elizabeth Estates. Then there's Eastern Road, seeing heavy traffic from east of Fox Hill to about Johnson Road. But remember, there's work going on in Village and Shirley, so that area we'll see some delays as well. That's what we're looking at right now. We'll have another update for you after the 8 o'clock news. That's your Morning Blend Traffic Alert, brought to you by RBC. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic. And we have another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Own Foundation. We've got a weak pressure pattern along with mostly dry and stable conditions that will prevail across the islands today. Boaters should be alert for possible waterspouts and or funnel cloud activity. For all areas, look for partly sunny and pleasant conditions with a chance of a brief passing shower or two, becoming mostly fair and mild with a stray shower or two possible tonight. Temperatures getting up to around 87 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook, a weakening cold front will move near and stall just north of the Bahamas through Thursday. Meanwhile, high pressure will continue to dominate weather, maintaining relatively stable conditions and light winds through the next few days. So for Thursday, tomorrow, partly sunny and pleasant with a chance of a brief passing shower, turning fair and mild at night. Friday, partly sunny with a chance of a few isolated showers during the day, mainly fair with a stray shower or two possible at night. We'll have a look at the tropics coming up in our weather check after the 8 o'clock news, but this weather check brought to you by the Own Foundation, which regrets to inform you that due to health and safety protocols, Own Talks Thrive 2022 will be postponed. The Own Foundation will honor all reserved tickets on a new date to be announced. They look forward to hosting you and inspiring future and current entrepreneurs to thrive on the new date to be announced.
I just link up with this beautiful young lady, and she say she in love with me. She say even my internet making sense. When she come over, she say my signal strong, my movies ain't glitching, and when she use her computer, everything was smooth. The only problem is, I let her meet me by my boy house that day, and he got that BTC fiber internet speed bump.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Link up. You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier. Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
Have you been planning to upgrade your bathroom or go big and update your tile floor? Well, now is the time because Nassau Tile has 20% off store-wide and as much as 40% off ceramic tiles. Looking for unbeatable bargains? Check out the selected items that are a whopping 40 to 60% off. So get down to Nassau Tile on Dowdswell Street before October 2nd and save big on the best selection of tiles in Nassau. Trust the tile experts at Nassau Tile today.
Okay, class, let's begin today's history lesson. Ancient civilization used to visit stadiums to watch musicians perform. It was called a live concert.
Teacher, what year was that?
Researchers believe it was around 2019. Normal life feels like a long time ago. As things return to normal, remember it is essential to be fully immunized against all vaccine-preventable diseases, like COVID-19, rubella, polio, hepatitis, mumps, and influenza. This message is brought to you by PAHO WHO, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the Caribbean Development Bank, the Government of Canada, and the United States of America.
Hey Lisa, I hear Fidelity's free Women Plus seminar is back.
Oh, yes, it is. My ladies and I are ready to go.
Well, I heard it's open for men too, so you know my crew and I will be there.
The highly anticipated free Fidelity Women Plus seminar will be held on Saturday, October 29th at the Bahama Convention Center as we explore solutions towards achieving financial freedom.
The Women's Plus seminar is free and includes breakfast, 8 sessions, plus over $8,000 in prizes and surprises. Registration and breakfast begin at 8 a.m. with sessions from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Space is limited, so register now for free at fbbwomanplus.com.
The Water and Sewage Corporation advises its customers and residents residing in the area of Westlake Boulevard and Coral Lake Subdivision, inclusive of all side streets, that due to new water main installation, which will commence on Thursday, September 22nd, 2022, and continue for 8 weeks, customers may experience interruption in water supply between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. daily. Also during this time, there will be road closure and detour around the work area. Non-resident motorists are asked to avoid the area as much as possible. The corporation apologizes for any inconvenience caused and appreciates your support as they work to improve their level of service.
Do you want a chance to win one of 5 Yamaha Kryptonite scooters? Do you like the great taste of Frito-Lay chips? Well, all you have to do is purchase chips like Lay's, Doritos, and Cheetos at your favorite grocery store, and you can enter to win thanks to Frito-Lay and Island Wholesale Scooter Giveaway Promotion. Want to know more? Join us at Super Value Mackey Street, October 29th, this Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. for a chance to play Island Wholesale Shoot and Win game for instant prizes and a chance to win one of 5 Yamaha scooters. Frito-Lay, distributed by Island Wholesale.
Innovation is back. The must-see digital event series from BTC Business. Hear from Don Antonio, the Content King, and many more. Plus, register for the Innovation Pitch Challenge and win up to $15,000 in cash and prizes. Get a booth for $250 and showcase your goods and services at our event. Join us in person at Bahamar's New Providence Ballroom on Friday, October 28th from 12 to 4 p.m. And get ready to network and sell. Call 47-SMALL to book a booth today.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier. Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
When I look at you in your eyes, I see there's something burning inside you.
World, we just live in it.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with Chester Robards. I almost said Stephen. Wow, they've gotten to me.
They have.
They've gotten to me after 10 years.
You've been
of hearing
assimilated.
that. Yeah, that's
boy,
how it works.
boy.
That's how it works. Chester Robards on this Wednesday morning.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to leave that there. I'm sure you're going to be hearing a lot more about the trip over the course of the day. But yeah, interesting stuff going on, as always. Yeah. All right. So there's some other interesting things in the news. This story here about the prisoner who died in the hospital, and a prisoner at the Department of Correctional Services died in the hospital yesterday after an altercation with another prisoner at the facility earlier this month. That's according to Acting Commissioner of Corrections Don Clare. Now, this language is interesting. Clare said on Tuesday, quote, listening to this, Chester, "We had a mental inmate
First problem.
who was involved in a fight about 2 weeks ago with another mental inmate in a cell. Every part of this is problematic.
Yep.
Two mental inmates, whatever that means, in a cell together?
Yeah.
Eek.
Yeah, that makes zero sense.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Claire said, quote, "The inmate suffered a head injury. He was taken to hospital. He was there for about 2 weeks, and he passed away this morning." He said the prisoner who died was locked up for a stealing charge. He said he did not want to say more about the other prisoner. It's unclear if the prisoners were in the remand section or if they were sentenced inmates. Claire said an investigation was launched the day the altercation happened, and it is now a matter for the police. Well, we'll never hear the end of this then, apparently. I mean, what the outcome? How many outstanding investigations are there that we... Anyway, yeah, he said the police could give more information than he could about it at this time. This is at least the third inmate who has died while in prison custody in the past year. A male inmate was found dead in his cell in June, though police said at the time foul play was not suspected. Last November, another inmate was found dead in his cell with injuries. Yeah. Okay, you people really need to stop. Just stop. Just stop your nonsense. Why is this a text that just came in? Why is Guardian Radio so quick to switch the topic regarding the PLP Bermuda trip? Is it because of the ambassador they're trying? Oh my Lord! Because I'm bored by it. That's why I don't want to talk about it the whole show. You're going to hear a lot more on this radio station today. I guarantee you that. But we had enough, right? And we don't have the answers. Nobody's telling me to stop. I'm bored. Chester, do you have anything more to say about it?
Nothing more to say.
So you stop your nonsense, texter. I believe you're the one who sent this text the other day. Nobody tells us what to talk about. Stop. Okay? The National Guardian is covering this story, and every day we mention it. But you stop. That's foolish. Okay, anyway. This person says that Dwight, 2 mental people together in prison is nothing. Most times we have at least 20 mental people in Parliament. And
oh boy. Jeez.
This is the problem with that prison. Death should not be a punishment for stealing.
Huh?
This is going to be one of those days. Okay, well.
So is it that they just didn't want to say what the other person was in there for?
He didn't want to say more about it.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
But see, again, this is why leave this up to
why
us to think about.
Exactly.
Because we're gonna think you're hiding something. We're gonna think you didn't do the right thing.
Mm-hmm. And why didn't the police say something?
Right.
If it is now in their hands.
In the hands of the police,
Right?
exactly.
Was that? Did you see? Are you in
I
that?
haven't.
But what is that all about? Well, why do we do this? And now an investigation. You knew that they were mental inmates, whatever that means. Again, mental inmates. You knew this, and
why are they?
and were they in the mental block? And I don't understand. Well,
Were
what
they
is
being
this?
treated, evaluated?
So this is really very, very unfortunate. And again, stealing. So always the investigations after the fact. Yeah. All right, and before we go to the news, still no decision on saving NIB. And nearly a year after the completion of the 11th actuarial review, Miles LaRota, the Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister, responsible for NIB, the National Insurance Board, saying they haven't decided what to do yet, whether they're going to do anything with the recommendations. And what are they waiting for? Chester, any insight into this? This has been going on for so long now, and people feel like we are very near to the edge of the cliff. Why are we moving so slowly in this regard?
It's a good question. It's a great question. And I wrote that Howard Keatis had said at one point, the Minister of Economic Affairs, that they had a solution.
Mm-hmm. How long ago was that?
Months now.
Yeah.
But I guess they didn't. Maybe they struck that solution off as a non-solution.
Yeah.
I saw a little girl kicking a can at the festival.
And you thought she
and I
was
said,
the Bahamas?
I told my friend, I said, there goes the government.
We laugh, but we're crying inside. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. And now at 8:22, time for another check of your weather for today. Brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. We've got a weak pressure pattern along with mostly dry and stable conditions. That's going to prevail across the country today. But boaters should be alert. There could be waterspout or funnel cloud activity. Your forecast for today for all areas, partly sunny and pleasant, with a chance of a brief passing shower or two, becoming mostly fair and mild with a stray shower or two possible tonight. Temperatures getting up to around 87 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook, a weakening cold front will move near and stall just north of the Bahamas through Thursday. Meanwhile, high pressure will continue to dominate weather, maintaining relatively stable conditions and light winds to gentle winds through the next few days. So for tomorrow, Thursday, partly sunny, pleasant, with a chance of a few brief passing showers during the day, fair and mild at night. Friday, partly sunny with a chance of a few isolated showers during the day, mainly fair with a stray shower or two possible at night. In the tropics, we're watching three areas now. A weakening area of low pressure about 300 miles north of Bermuda with little chance of formation. Then there's a trough of low pressure stretching from the central Caribbean northward to the southwestern Atlantic with about a 30% chance of formation through the next 5 days. And an area of low pressure that could form over the eastern Caribbean Sea by early this weekend with about a 30% chance of formation through the next 5 days. Elsewhere, tropical cyclone formation not expected through the next 5 days. That's your Morning Blend weather check brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance, still the first and only local company and agency network that lets you buy car and home insurance 100% online. Try it at bahamasfirst.com. And now at 8:25, time for another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments, there's one Visa Classic credit card. In your real-time traffic this morning, still Eastern Road looking busy for you from just about Fox Hill to Johnson Road, and Still a bit of congestion as you get closer to Village and Shirley Street as the work continues there. And there's some single-lane traffic at that point, which is causing some delays, but keep that in mind. Elsewhere, we have Robinson Road still looking busy between Soldier and Old Trail. That's westbound, and pockets along Prince Charles Drive. Independence Drive, both directions, west and eastbound, looking busy for you between the roundabouts at East Street and Blue Hill Road. And Blue Hill busy just north of Soldier as you get over that hill heading to that roundabout. Mila Butler Highway, heavy traffic from well south of Fire Trail all the way up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. And Gladstone Road also busy for you northbound from Fire Trail up to JFK Drive. West Bay Street, we're seeing some heavy traffic eastbound on the way to the roundabout with Independence with New Providence Highway near Saunders Beach. And some building traffic on Carmichael westbound toward Coral Harbor Road. Those are your hot spots. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
KB and Sting, coming with the heaving ting. Come on, woo! Oh yeah! Yes! Eyes of a human. Hair on and bread. I don't want to live nowhere else, even when I dead. Eyes of a human, and I always late. If you want me there by 9, better tell me come 8. See, eyes of a human, and I don't like say nobody gonna spend my money when I go to my grave. Yes, eyes of a human.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong along with Chester Robards. And coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking with Lifer Key International School. We've got two amazing students here with us this morning. We're going to meet them and learn more about the open house events they have coming up. That's in just a few minutes. So we continue with what's in the news. You might have heard in the news just now some interesting comments from the Immigration Minister, Keith Bell, as the spotlight is on, the pressure is on, as everybody's talking about the immigration challenges we have. And is the government doing enough to address what's going on, especially with the shanty towns and with just what we talked about yesterday with the Central and South Abaco MP John Pinder saying that the undocumented population in Abaco is rivaling, in terms of size, the Bahamian population on the island. Is that a new development? I don't know, but it is a serious situation, definitely. Take a listen to what Keith Bell said to reporters yesterday.
For stiffer fines for people who employ undocumented migrants. Is that something that the government will give consideration to?
It is something that has always been proposed in terms of stiffer penalties, stiffer fines for not just the employers, but also persons who are undocumented. There is a process, and we are seeking to ensure. Just recently, up to last week, we put persons before the courts, and up to last evening, I have signed in excess of 100 repatriation orders, deportation orders. And so we have a flight scheduled this morning to take irregular migrants back to Cuba, and later on this week, I think there's about 2 flights, Bahamas Air, destined to Haiti to take irregular migrants back. So we are, in fact, enforcing the laws.
So do you think government is doing enough to address the immigration problem we have in the country currently?
Sure, but that is a subjective question. To me, I may say yes. To you, you may say no. But the fact of the matter is, scientifically, the numbers speak that we have repatriated in excess of 2,000 persons already for the year. We have put persons before the court. There are a number of active investigations. Boots are on the ground. We have done recruitment, and you will see an increase in resources in all of these areas. So, in my view, the answer is yes.
All right, Immigration Minister Keith Bell speaking to reporters yesterday. it's always consideration to increase the fines. Well, if people keep doing what they've been doing and nothing is changing, then what's the hold up with doing more with the fines?
Maybe they should publicize when they find people, because I've never heard of it.
And then it sounded like you wanted to put the onus back on the undocumented people. And of course, they did break the law, but they wouldn't do this so frequently, one suspects, if they couldn't so easily find work here. Right? I mean, when you come in here, come into a hostile environment where you can't find any work and any assistance, then you would say, well, don't go there. That's not the place to be. But that is definitely not the case. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is, what's going on there. And then there's more puzzling statements in today's paper. R. Jasper Ward writing about former immigration minister Ellsworth Johnson, who's saying the FNM is a little quiet on illegal immigration. So, Johnson says the FNM has been a little quiet on the Bahamas' immigration problems. Johnson making the comment after Central and South Abaco MP John Pinder told the Nassau Guardian the numbers of undocumented Haitians living on Abaco are closing in on the Bahamian populace on the island. Johnson says the Bahamas is experiencing an immigration crisis. He said, quote, "It calls for, in my mind, town hall meetings because of the tension, and this is what we don't want to speak about." When I started, I said former Immigration Minister Loftus Roker foretold it, and one of our social commentators warned us of it, the tension that is brewing, where people think I'm a Bahamian, I should be entitled to certain things. Look at activist Lincoln Bain and all those other persons. They feel as if it's not being addressed properly. But not just Mr. Bain. My party seems to have been a little quiet on this issue, but the issue has to be addressed in a humane, and I emphasize this, and a socially conscious way, because we're dealing with men, women, and children who find themselves in a crisis situation trying to save their very lives. Johnson says he believes there's a lack of political will to really deal with the illegal immigration issue in a humane and socially conscious way. He said Bahamians cannot deny that there is a problem. He pointed to recent comments from the Director of Immigration, who indicated that a shantytown in Abaco grew from 50 acres to 200 acres since Hurricane Dorian. Now, much of that growth occurred during Johnson's time as immigration minister. Nevertheless, he described it as, quote, insane for such a short period of time. Okay, so we're just talking for the sake of talking, it seems. I don't know what was what's happening. But, so what do you make of it all, folks? Are we really serious here? Again, we questioned the comments from the MP, John Pinder, yesterday on the show. I mean, people have been saying this for 10, 20, 30 years. There have been jokes about it, but now it's getting more serious because I guess what? As he mentioned a few weeks ago, these aren't the same people they were 30 years ago who were just willing to blend in and get by. These folks are more aggressive and assertive.
Building lives, building homes, big homes with hurricane-proof windows. And as the minister said yesterday, ice and water shields on the roof. These ain't shanty towns.
Fancy. So as they are more independent, I guess, less willing to get along and do, now you're getting a little intimidated by the bigotiness of them all. And now we are trying to say the things that others were warning about for 20, 30 years. But yet when you ask people about it, maybe we'll increase the fines for people who hire the undocumented. Maybe. But we are repatriating every day. Okay. So that's the plan. Just, when they keep coming, they'll slap you on the wrist, pay to send them back, and just keep this cycle going. While shanty towns become cities.
Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful. We got only a couple minutes to talk about it, though, folks. What do you say? Give us a call really quickly. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us. 422-4796. I think you asked a great question. What are you really finding people? I mean, it can be hard to find that these people, these employers are hiring undocumented individuals. What are you doing about it? Are they using their might to say, nope, I need these people. This is working. They do the job better than whatever, so please leave me alone.
Right.
Or I'll shut down the whole building. Are you getting threatened like that? Tell us what's really happening, because you're saying these things, but we don't see the evidence that you're really, you're flying out a few folks. But that's about it.
You document those repatriations really well. Talk to us about the other things.
Let's hear what you have to say. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning, Chester.
Good morning.
Good morning, my best bomb. See, Dwight, see, we, the real baby people be watching. You see, when Mr. Kusi was the prime minister, he went to China, get a war tank, what bullets and tear gas to kill the baby. See, these people breaking the law all around. But every time something to do, the real baby people to be mashed down. Baby people like tell you all, go out and go. See, Lincoln Bain might be going against the wrong way, but he's right, you know. He can force the government. And that same judge that can't grant better, whatever, she's a loser. She's
what
a
now?
loser. She
What
don't
now?
like
What? No, what?
Okay.
My Lord, have mercy. I apologize on behalf of the caller for that. Oh, my goodness gracious. Okay. Hi. Let's read this text and then we'll go to the break. This person says that we are not serious about this issue. That's why it continues. There are some hard decisions to be made, especially in this recessionary atmosphere. We have to enforce our laws, and once an infraction happens, we must enforce what the law says. Demolition, refusal of continued work permits, etc. Yeah, I would think, right, if you have violated this, you shouldn't be allowed to get work permits, maybe, right? If we see that you have undocumented individuals working for you, no, I don't understand. Is this one, is Keith Bell for real? It matters not how well those homes are built. If I build a wall in the front of my home that is not on my plan or approved, the ministry will ask me to take it down, no matter how well it's built.
Well, he ain't say it was okay. He was just pointing out something specific.
Okay. Well, yeah.
He did mention that they were built illegally, even though they look nice and got nice tanks.
Now what are they going to do? What are they going to do?
That's the question.
So, right.
What are they going to do?
Now what are you going to do? Well, since it's nice.
Remove the people, right? Get it inspected.
And then rent it out. How do persons even apply for a work permit while living here in the Bahamas? Everywhere else, a person must be in their own country to apply for a work permit and have the job lined up too, right? And what annoys me about Bell is that he always mentions the previous government. You are in the chair. No one cares what the previous government did not do. We are looking solely at you. Do your job. All right. And this text here. That's about traffic. The mere fact that Keith Bell said they repatriated 2,000 people says that there is a crisis. That's a lot of people, and only the ones we caught. This one says here, nobody hires a manager or CEO to complain to them of what the other guy before them did or did not do. Just fix the problem. Also tell former Minister Johnson that the only thing that exceeds his gross incompetence is his ability to recognize it. It does not matter if some of those homes are built up to standard when they should not have been built in the first place.
They meant inability?
Well, okay, maybe. For a Bahamian like me, it is very hard to gain a mortgage. There is so much red tape I have to go through, but the undocumented people can come and build anywhere, and nothing is being said. That is just crazy. Well, a lot's being said. That's the problem. A lot's being said, but nothing much is being done. And this text here, as we go to the break, this person says here, Eastern Road has been single lane for weeks, but traffic would clear by 8:45 or so. I believe the backup is because they created what seems like a crater, but it's not in the road, and cars are slowing down more than they need to navigate. Why can't the Ministry of Works level that out, even tar it so cars can navigate it easily? Is it really necessary for motorists to suffer 30 days of 2-hour backups so you don't have to reopen the road a month later? Well, that's an interesting question. Yeah, I'm sure they do have to go back there at some point. I don't know what to tell you, but you ask a good question. You really do. Or at least they used to, on Prince Charles Drive, they were putting those metal, they were terrifying though, those big giant metal things. I don't know what to call them, but they were putting them there before they finished the work. And maybe that will work there, but it did feel like they were shifting. And that, if the wrong Mack truck rolled over it, so that's a little scary, but something needs to be done. Yes, it's been bad. It's been very bad all over. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back. A lot more to talk about. We're going to meet some amazing students in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
In the West Indies, we stand here on our own. This independent country, Bahamas, this our home. Our aquamarine, our black and our gold. I'm so true Bahamian, deep down in my soul. With Bahamian culture, come and love your goals. Our Junkanoo arts and crafts, show them to the world. Our family islands are full of diamond compass. 700 islands, that's all the capital.
Are you an attorney with a joint practice operating from one location? Accepting payments from clients doesn't have to be complicated.
Introducing RBC MultiPay. Now each attorney can securely accept and settle payments with one point-of-sale device supporting multiple bank accounts.
With competitive pricing, training, and easy setup, you will be up and running in no time.
Call 356-8500 to sign up for
RBC
MultiPay.
The Water and Sewage Corporation advises its customers and residents residing in the area of Westlake Boulevard and Coral Lake Subdivision, inclusive of all side streets, that due to new water main installation, which will commence on Thursday, September 22nd, 2022, and continue for 8 weeks, customers may experience interruption in water supply between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. daily. Also during this time, there will be road closure and detour around the work area. Non-resident motorists are asked to avoid the area as much as possible. The corporation apologizes for any inconvenience caused and appreciates your support as they work to improve their level of service.
Breakfast just got better at Wendy's. Introducing the Breakfast Biggie Bag. Enjoy a double sausage muffin with 2 square sausage patties, a freshly cracked egg, and cheese served on a toasted English muffin, a medium waffle fries, and an orange juice for only $5.25, fat inclusive. Add an apple pie for just $1 more.
Say what?
At Wendy's, better breakfast is all day. Offers valid in participating locations. Wendy's, different inside and out.
Fidelity's free Women Plus seminar is back. Join us on Saturday, October 29th at the Bahama Convention Center, where leading professionals will give you the hard facts on topics like
How to Be Rich 101, how your mental and emotional health impacts financial health, and what I wish women knew about men,
and how to get their money. This free, life-changing event is for women and men. The seminar includes breakfast, 8 sessions, plus over $8,000 in prizes and surprises. Registration and breakfast begins at 8 a.m., with sessions from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Space is limited, so register now for free at fbbwomenplus.com.
Link up with BTC.
Did you get the speed bump? All BTC subscribers with a bundled fiber connection receive the speed increase, totally free and totally automatic. It's just another way of ensuring that we are delivering best value to our customers, keeping them on the leading edge of everything awesome. Link up with BTC to get your speed bump today. Visit any BTC store or btcbahamas.com to learn more.
Leave no customer or sale behind. Sign up for Scotia Ecom Plus, your business's one-stop e-commerce shop. Whether virtual, in-person, or hybrid, you can open up your business to the world. Gain access to cutting-edge, secure, and reliable e-solutions and elevate your business operations with Scotia Ecom Plus. No website, no problem. Tap into online sales with Scotiabank's virtual terminal, hosted payment pages, or web API. Visit bs.scotiabank.com/e-commerce to learn more about Scotiabank Ecom Plus today.
Mr. Campbell, we have your test results. Do you want the good news or the bad news first?
Good news. No, wait, bad news. Give it to me straight, doctor.
Your blood work came back. You've got erythrocytes all over.
Oh no, this can't be happening.
Here's the good news. That just means red blood cells. It's a good thing. You're completely fine.
With 99% of medical claims paid in 5 days, we're like a doctor who doesn't want to be a comedian. CG Atlantic, medical and life. Good like that.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit cfal.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
If you were exposed to COVID-19, have symptoms, or traveled recently, get tested so that you can have peace of mind about your status. Just visit one of our convenient locations on New Providence at the University of the Bahamas or Golden Gates Plaza, weekdays 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Eleuthera at the Three Island Dock, Mondays through Thursdays 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Fridays and Saturdays 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sundays 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. On Exuma at the Regatta Park, weekdays 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Saturdays 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sundays 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. On Abaco at Maxwell Food Store, Mondays through Saturdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The COVID-19 test results will be ready in 15 minutes and the tests are free.
This message is brought to you by PAHO WHO and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Oh, shucks. Thank God it's Friday, no waking till Monday. My bites are back, going back to the family islands. Hey. Gonna get a little R&R, dance a little reggae.
That's to inspire you to make it to Friday. I think that's.
That's what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with Chester Robards. And we're changing gears. This morning we are talking about Lifer Key International School and meeting two very incredible students and learning more about their programs as well. This morning in studio, we have with us the Marketing, Advancement, and Communications Director, O'Neill Bain. And we have with us, very happy to have LCIS Rising Star Scholar, Delon Kemp Jr., and we have LCIS Thompson Trust Scholar, Kamaya Poitier. Good morning. Welcome. Great to have you with us.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you.
All right, so let's learn a little bit about the school for those who aren't familiar, and then we'll talk to Delon and Kamaya. So O'Neill Bain, tell us about Lifer Key International School.
Thanks, Dwight. So Lifer Key International School was founded in 1962. We are celebrating 60 years this year.
Wow.
We have students from ages 18 months all the way up to 18 years across two campuses now, one within the Lifer Key community for our preschool to grade 6 students, and a new upper school for grade 7 to 12 where Delon and Kamaya attend school. We have some admissions events coming up in the next few weeks and coming days actually for our upper school that we're here to promote today. On October 29th, Saturday coming up at 2 p.m., we're going to have a grade 7 to 12 open house. And then on Tuesday, we'll have an open day where families can actually come to the school during the school day and see us delivering our IB curriculum. So we are the only school in the Bahamas and actually the Caribbean to offer all 4 IB programs. That's the primary years program, the middle years program, and the diploma program and career-related program. And there are less than 50 schools really in the world that can say that they have those 4 programs. We're also accredited by the Council of International Schools and the New England Association of Schools and Colleges. So we are required to really deliver at a high quality in every aspect of our curriculum, our programs, activities, and admissions. So we have a very strong tuition assistance program that's been growing tremendously in recent years. We've more than doubled the amount of aid that we give away on an annual basis in the last 2 years. So within this school year alone, we've offered students over $850,000 in tuition assistance. And Delon and Kamaya are students who are benefiting from that program through named scholarships. So really, they're here today also to talk a bit more about their own experience in joining LCIS this school year, as well as talking about the profile of the kind of student that would achieve these prestigious awards at our school. But another note that we also like to share with the public is that our awards vary, and so they can be as small as 10% all the way up to 100%. So we're looking for families across the spectrum that are interested in a high-quality curriculum and education for their children to come out to our open house events to learn more about the school, visit our website, which is www.LCIS.bs, and go to the admissions section to learn more and submit an inquiry so that we can begin a conversation with you about potentially getting your children to join our school.
Wow, that sounds wonderful. Okay, we'll talk with kids in just a bit. But tell us about the IB program, and again, across those 4 areas you talked about, why that is so important and special.
Yeah, so the IB program really is the gold standard that a lot of universities around the world look for when they're looking for applicants. It is well known to be very rigorous. It is inquiry-based, and so students don't learn in the traditional way where it's about content retention. We're not focused on that. We're focused on, like I said, generating inquiry. It's student-driven, so they drive their own learning. We help them to build 21st century skills like critical thinking. They develop confidence. They become leaders. They are challenged in a lot of ways inside the classroom and out of the classroom at any IB school, but at LCIS in particular. We have unique subjects like design, that I believe is Delon's favorite subject at LCIS, where students explore different projects. So they're given a challenge, such as how can we create a more sustainable home for a family? And they would do the research of finding out who are the leaders in architecture in, sort of net zero emission building, explore that and create a prototype. And so they would have like a 3D printer. They have a room where there's workbenches and saws and everything. So any tools that the students need to explore their inquiry, we would have those on site. And our teachers, again, are very high quality. As part of the IB and our accreditation, we're required to, of course, find the best teachers in the world. So we start locally, and so we have many highly qualified Bahamians on our staff, but also teachers from across the globe. So in our school community as a whole, we have 45 nationalities represented, and so it's extremely diverse. It's a unique, I think, experience, especially for Bahamian students, because there's really no other school on the island where you will be able to interact and learn from and be around people who are from such a diverse set of backgrounds.
Yeah, that really sounds wonderful.
Well, sorry, are you saying IB? What's
International Baccalaureate.
International Baccalaureate.
Yeah, so the International Baccalaureate organization is who authorizes schools to offer these programs.
Right.
So many years ago, LCIS sought authorization for each of them, and so now we have 4, and also accreditation. And we go through a 5-year cycle of retaining these accreditations and authorizations, which, like I said, just requires the entire school community to work together to ensure that we're always raising the bar for what we deliver for our families.
So someone doesn't come over and tick boxes and walk
No,
around
no,
and
no.
run their finger across the
Right.
desk.
No, you're held to account,
Right.
and so we carry out a self-study initially where we analyze where we need to grow,
Right.
and then someone comes and evaluates that and says, okay, well, you need to strengthen this program and work in this way, and so we're always thinking about that even in advance. In addition to the high-quality academics, though, we are very much focused on student well-being. So they have very close relationships with their advisors. We have small groups where students come every morning and they talk to their advisor about how was the past day, what are they looking forward to today, what challenges are they facing. So we really get to know them. The small class sizes helps with that as well. Our faculty-student ratio is 1 to 7.
Wow. I was going to ask you, what is the student population?
Yeah, so our students, we're around 400 students, but we have a faculty-student ratio of 1 to 7, and our classes are very small. Up in the final 2 years of school in the diploma program, for example, students really get to decide where they want to focus in their academics based on what they're looking forward to doing post-secondary. And so if you choose to study physics, for example, you may be in a class of only 4 students. If you choose to study music, you may be in a class of 2 students. But we definitely deliver at a high quality, depending on what our students are interested in. And then they have transformative experiences that we really are big on as well. So every year, in high school especially, students take on an off-island field trip that's linked to the curriculum. And so they get to build strong bonds with their classmates. They are placed in challenging environments at places like the Island School, which is one of our partners. And then they sort of see how that's linked to what they're learning in school. So they may be learning about biodiversity, about sustainability. And so they would go and see how that's applied in places that are sort of living off the grid in that type of environment.
Sounds amazing. I almost want to go back to school.
Right.
All right, so let's meet the LCIS Thompson Trust Scholar, Kamaya Poitier. Kamaya, how old are you now?
Good morning. I'm 12 years old now.
So what grade are you in?
I'm in 7th grade.
All right, so tell us about it. Tell us about this Thompson Trust and your journey to LCIS.
The journey so far is pretty good. I'm working hard right now, and like the lessons especially, they're fun to learn, and I think they're getting easier and easier the more that I understand them, and I'm getting more used to the grading scale system, and yeah, I think it's pretty, it's good, it's awesome, it's amazing.
How's the transition? What school were you coming from, and which school you go, and how's that been? How different has it been, especially going into high school now?
I was coming from Palmdale Primary, and now I'm at Lyford Key, and how it's different is how I mentioned, the IB program, the grading scale. There's more hands-on learning, you can physically learn, do it physically, and more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite subject right now?
My favorite subject? I have about 3.
Okay.
I really like science, I like design, and I like PE.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and I have a 4th one.
Uh-oh.
I like music.
Okay. All right. So music, sounds like somebody in your family. That's why you like music too. Yeah. So you know what you want to do as yet when you get older?
I was thinking of being an entrepreneur, owning a cafe.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
All right, that sounds very good. Looking forward to that. All right, so the Rising Star Scholar is Delon Kemp
Hi.
Jr. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Tell us about your journey and how old are you?
Well, I'm 11. I just turned 11.
Oh, okay. Happy belated birthday. What grade are you in?
I'm in grade 7.
Grade 7 as well. All right, so which school were you coming from, and how's it been going to LCIS?
Well, I've transferred from school to school. The first school I ever went to was a Spanish school. My mom told me not to mention the name.
Uh-oh.
Then, after that, I went to St. Cecilia's, which was a Catholic school. My little brother still goes there.
Okay.
I made a lot of memories and made friends.
Oh, nice.
And the teachers are really nice.
Okay.
And then, I got the scholarship to get to Lyford. So, long journey.
Yeah? And how's it been so far?
Well, it was good. It is good. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, what do you like the most about it?
Well, in St. Cecilia's, I didn't have a challenge. So if it was challenging, I would have pushed myself, but I wasn't really pushing at all.
Dear.
I was seeking a challenge, and I found it at Lyford, so I'm happy for that.
Wow. Tell us about the challenge. What's been so challenging about it?
The subjects, many diverse subjects.
Yeah? Like what?
Well, design. It was kind of hard to find the perfect design to build the bridge, but me and my team managed to do it, so I'm happy for that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow. So both of you saying design, so that clearly is making an impression on everybody at the school.
Yes, teacher is very funny.
Yeah. Okay. What other subjects do you like?
Well, I like two others. I like science and I like language.
Okay. All right. So what about you? Do you know what the future is going to be like, or what do you want to be when you get older?
No, I do not know.
No, you have a long time to go.
Yes.
You got some time to think about that. Oh wow, wonderful! Sounds like got a lot of great kids at LCIS. Tell us about these particular scholarships and what you're looking for, and what others need to do if they're interested.
So
in
for
this.
the Thompson Trust Scholarship, which Kamaya received, we currently have 2 students who are Thompson Trust Scholars. It was established in honor of Peter N. Thompson. And so several donors have chosen to offer full ride scholarships to students at our school, or very substantial scholarships that will last them until their graduation. But as I mentioned, we have a general scholarship program that really benefits many students in the school, and the awards can range from as small as 10% to up to 100%. One thing that I think would be interesting for the students to share more about is really what they did in their either academic life or in their extracurricular life prior to coming to LCIS, because that really helps to set students apart when they're obviously very involved. We look for students who are leaders. Our vision is educating the leaders of tomorrow. And so, but also if you're not a leader yet, or if you don't feel that you're a leader, we help to develop those skills in students. And so we take every passion that they have further and allow them to dive deeper into it.
Yeah.
But for Kamaya and Delon, they definitely were outstanding candidates because of their strong academics. They were well-spoken. They were eager and looking for a challenge, which is good because the transition to a new curriculum can be a little bit challenging for students sometimes. And of course, we try to provide support for that. But once a student is open-minded and ready to, take on the characteristics of the IB learner, which there are 10, they could maybe tell you a bit about the IB learner profile as well. So we definitely try to develop certain characteristics in students, such as being balanced, being open-minded, being strong communicators, being open to taking risks, which is very important as well. And also, in terms of their own transition, what advice would they give to other students? I think would be nice for them to share ahead of, especially admission season, when there will be families who are considering it, but also students. And we know that many families decide schools based on their children, right? And they listen to their child and say, okay, where do you want to go? Where do you think you will thrive? And so it's always great to hear from the students themselves.
Yeah. Let's hear about it. Tell us about it, the IB Learner Program, and what you were up to when you were at your old schools and that made you stand out.
All right. So before I attended LCIS, I did karate. I'm still doing it. I'm almost at my black belt.
Whoa. Oh, nice. At 11. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
6 years of hard work.
Yeah.
I did soccer. I left my old team. I'm gonna join the LCIS team. And then I did swimming, but swimming closed down because my coach got attacked from a dog.
Oh dear.
Sad, but that's what happened.
Oh boy. But you might be able to get back into it at some point.
Yeah, I might be able to get back once she heals up.
Right. Okay, that's good. So you've been busy. You've got a lot going
really
on.
busy.
Yeah.
Most of my days are leaving the house, coming back at 7 o'clock in the night. So really hard work.
And then homework and studying and all that stuff.
Yes, and I go to bed maybe at least 7:30, but sometimes I go to bed at 11 o'clock just doing work.
Oh boy.
Oh, wow.
Oh boy, that's pretty late. Wow. It's later than me. Okay. And Kamaya, what about you?
Okay, so you're asking like how it was before
Yeah.
I made?
And what do you think made you stand out?
What made me stand out was I had a lot of like activities and clubs that I did. I achieved many things, like I was deputy head girl when I was in 6th grade.
Okay.
I had a high GPA of 4.0 when I was in my school, Palmdale. And I was in Student of the Year. I was a Student of the Year nominee, and I came 7th.
Okay. That is a
And-
lot.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Advice to the other students.
Yeah, advice for the other students that want to apply to come to Life for Key. Have like positive attitudes so you can be well known and people can speak good about you. Maintain good grades and participate and engage in many activities. Like 2 examples: Red Cross, Kiwanis, K-Kids, or
Yep.
Discovery Club, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a bit of advice as well.
Okay, Delon.
Well, my advice is to do your best no matter what. If you get the scholarship or not, just be happy that you got to try. My mom always told me since I was young, nothing beats a failure but a try. She gave me my inspiration to push for the scholarship, and well, I got it.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, wow, these two are amazing.
Mhm.
These are amazing. Okay, so tell us about the scholarship dates. Of
Yeah, so just again to touch on the open house dates. So we have our grade 7 to 12 events coming up first. They will be this Saturday, October 29th at 2 p.m. at our upper school campus, and Tuesday, November 1st at 10:30 a.m. at the upper school campus. Then we will have our preschool to grade 6 events on November 12th, which is a Saturday, and November 17th, which is a Thursday. Registration is available on our website. Just visit www.lcis.bs.com, .bs, and you will be able to click a link and register right away. We'll just get a bit of information from you so we can reach out, ensure that you have directions to the school and any other information and answer any questions that you might have in the lead up to that. Also, even outside of these events, obviously our admissions is rolling. And so any families that are interested can always reach out on our website to our admissions team to learn more about the school, to have a private tour of the school if you would like, and also just begin the admissions process. Even if you're talking about August next year, we start that process from now. And also for families who are seeking tuition assistance, it is best to try to get your applications in early. Again, that is also an ongoing process, but if it's in early, it gives the school time to review and get you a response early to know what you want to do for next school year.
Is the level of interest in the scholarships really usually great?
Yeah, and it's growing. And again, like I said, over years, there's always been more demand than what the school has been able to do because we relied on fundraising to carry out the program. Right. But like I said, thankfully, after post-COVID and through some of the other changes that we've made, the program has been able to grow. And so we've been able to help a lot more families. And so the hope is that we can continue to grow it as demand increases as well.
Is there a cap on the number of students you take?
No. So
year?
there's not a cap. I mean, I think that there's a budget that's available, and we try to meet families' needs as best we can. And of course, again, it starts with the regular admission cycle, which is finding students who will thrive at our school, and then with the scholarship program, it's finding the students who will do well, who will be able to thrive, and seeing if we can meet the level of support that the family needs.
Right.
And have it go as wide as we can.
This is wonderful. Hearing about all of this. O'Neill Bain, thank you so much for being here this morning, and it has been a pleasure meeting the two of you, 12-year-old Kamaya Poitier and 11-year-old DeLon Kemp Jr. Thank you. We are expecting great things from you, too. We can hear it in you. The future is very bright. Yes. Keep up the great work that you're doing. And keep up the great work at LCIS, Life for Key International School. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
We're going to take a break and be back after the news with Morning Blend Business. Stay with us.
Everybody jump in the line. I'm feeling like I can't stand still one more time. The suspense is killing me. Please, let's go wild. Everybody get in the street and jump in the line. This is your time, man. Look how you're moving. Please don't stop. I got to get my groove on. The road is mine. Everybody go, let's go dancing to the beat. In the streets, I'm jumping the line. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, oh, oh. Everybody jump in the line. Oh, oh, oh.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Wednesday, October 26th, 2022. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. And this morning, it is time for our second of our twice monthly series with the Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center. And we are talking about MSME month, which is next month, only a few days away from November. And micro, small, medium enterprises are going to be celebrated all month long. And here to tell us about it, we're very pleased to welcome back to the show Head of Pre-Funding, Ron Brainen. And we've got Preston Ferguson Jr., Communications Coordinator, with us. And in a moment, we'll be joined by Corporate Communications Manager, Michaela Munnings. But gentlemen, great to have you with us in studio. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dwight. It's great to be here.
All right, MSME month. All right, so we were talking about it earlier, but define for those who might not be familiar with the term what an MSME is.
Sure. So MSME is micro, small, and medium enterprises.
Mm-hmm.
So in smaller terms, the small businesses throughout the Bahamas here. So that falls on any type of plane, whether it be from startup, small, medium, and goes up to, I guess, the micro and medium enterprises.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely wanted to have this month where we actually want to celebrate those folks in the field there and actually champion our work that we do here at Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center and any small business throughout here.
Yeah.
So, sorry, go ahead.
All right, so in the Bahamas, in this context, is that the majority of the businesses here would fall into this category? Or what percentage of the businesses here would be?
Most definitely.
Right? Almost everybody.
based on the amount that they have to make and the amount of employees that they have to have. That's the definition.
Right. So businesses that meet this criteria have to have earnings within a particular dollar range and also a particular employee complement. I think the employee complement, if I'm not mistaken, is
not more than 50 or something like that.
Yeah, it's under 50.
Right.
And I think the annual earnings should be less than, I would say, $1 million.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So
because I knew I was a small business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why should we pay special attention to this grouping? Why do they need our focus?
Well, definitely small and medium-sized enterprises are drivers of the economy in most developing nations. So this group of individuals are key to seeing any sort of economic growth and expansion in GDP. So we have to pay special attention to those persons and get them as much support and underpinning support, as we possibly can.
Yeah. And we had a couple of small business owners on yesterday, and they talked about the challenges they are facing and how inflation and what we're seeing, even the raise in the minimum wage is going to have an impact on how they do business. This is an interesting time for MSMEs. Let's talk about that, what you're seeing, and that support, what that needs to look like and how that's changed over the past few years.
Yeah, most definitely. So in our program, we build in a lot of training pillars that prepare clients for certain types of challenges, in addition to the general training that you get in entrepreneurship as a part of the handshake agreement that clients make with us as a I guess spin-off of funding. We provide advice and advisory services that support clients. So it dives into looking at what their financial information is telling them, actually making them get financial information and conduct financial reporting so that we can analyze and kind of provide advice to direct the inventory purchases, how to be more efficient in provide the provision of the services or the products that they want to produce. We actually get into the business and actually look at its structure to see how we can maybe streamline some approaches they take to actually operating and running the business on a day-to-day basis.
You're going to say something, Preston?
Definitely would agree with everything what my colleague Kenron here said, and also it also ties back into our core services that we at Access Accelerator would like to implement. We promote as well. We champion the cause of holistic access. That's access to capital, mentorship, business advisory services, training, and incubation. So we try to pride ourselves on these pillars. So with our training schedules, our training processes, or even classes implemented or in these programs, we try to provide that aspect of teaching entrepreneurs where they holistically know how to carry themselves from a startup or even idea phase to even meeting you halfway to where they can be medium-sized businesses and taking you beyond that threshold there.
I think one other thing that we don't talk about enough as an organization is the ecosystem that we try to create among businesses that have been either funded or that are affiliated with the Access Accelerator through our training programs. We had our summer entrepreneurship series that just closed. Last night was the closing reception, but we try to create this community among entrepreneurs where if Preston has a straw business, for example, and I provide drink services, so I'm a mobile bartender, we would make a connection between myself and Preston so that I exclusively get all of my straws and other paper products through the services that his company provides. So it goes far beyond just providing this access to capital or training or mentorship or incubation, and it goes into even trying to create an ecosystem that helps the entrepreneurs to thrive and survive times like this.
I always ask you all this, but and Michaela, welcome, great to have you with us. But are people open to this advice, to being critiqued in this matter? Like, you would do better if you did this or didn't do that, and perhaps you should consider this. Are you finding entrepreneurs open to that type of, in-depth analysis of what they do?
I would say that I'd start by saying that what we do is as much a science, is as much an art as it is a science. So there's always going to be resistance from a business person or someone that's an expert in a particular skill set. So you go into a mechanics workshop and you tell him, or you try to tell him how to make his mechanic shop more efficient. He's going to probably chase you out of his space. But I think there's a trust building dimension to relationship building in general, and there's also when you demonstrate value in what it is that you're sharing with the person, and actually when you demonstrate that you're invested in what it is that they do. We have some of, I would say, the best people working and giving advice to these entrepreneurs, and they're committed to seeing them succeed. So they go and they sit in an entrepreneur's store for a day just to see what's going on in the store. And I think that when our entrepreneurs actually see this level of commitment that the advisors display, it gives them the access to actually be heard by the entrepreneur and actually make the suggestions, get them to buy in, even if it's something that's not natural to them or even something that they saw as valuable previously. And then also there's the delivery, when there is an uptick in the business based on the suggestion or the advice that was given. And that kind of creates that foundation of trust, but also an understanding of the skill set that we have to kind of provide the solutions, provide this advice.
Has it ever gotten to the point where you're reducing someone to tears? Like, this is, your model just is not working, not going to work. We advise you to start from scratch.
I think that if you're doing your job right, there are going to be moments where you have to say no. I think, again, I talked about it being as much an art as it is a science. So it's also understanding that art of explaining to someone how things work and where their challenges are, but also how you need to pivot.
Yeah.
Maybe move the business in a different direction, or maybe just take a different route to getting to the same place.
Yeah.
So, it's a mixed bag. We try not to make too many people cry.
we mean it with love. We try for the more so just for the benefit of these people and benefit of entrepreneurs in general. And it can be more so where there's some things that Ken Ron may see that I may not be generally looking at, or maybe thinking of, or I may be of a certain mindset of, I guess, my business and how I want that to look. Whereas the team that we have here at Access Accelerator is more of like, hey, you're thinking like this, I mean, you can think bigger than that. And it's just more so encouraging. And sometimes that may be taken with a grain of salt or with a little bit of a lemon squeeze, but it's more with love.
For sure.
Michael, let's hear from you on this as we get ready for MSME month.
Yes.
From your perspective, what do you think people need to know and keep in mind?
So one of the key things that I would want persons to take away from MSME month is that it's on a national level. So it's not just open or standalone to our SPDC clients. Of course, we are going to feature those persons, and these are some of the benefits of being clients of the SPDC. But we want persons to know that this is on a national level throughout all of the family islands, and we want to recognize these business owners, these entrepreneurs for their successes over the years and help them to be able to thrive, especially in tough economic times.
Yeah. So we talked about it. Things are changing, and we're hearing from economists and others about how gloomy 2023 is going to be, and we know it's often the smaller businesses that take the hit. What should you be doing if you are an MSME, and this is coming? All that everybody's saying, hard times next year. What do you need to be doing right now?
Well, I think so. One of the key things, right, is actually taking a look at your current business structure. What are some of maybe there are some services that you can probably do away with, and then what are your niche services? What are the things that persons are constantly coming to you for and soliciting from you for? How do you now build upon those services? Are your staff sufficiently trained in certain areas? Because the thing about business is so strange, right? So you have Domino's, you have Pizza Hut, Papa John's, Little Caesar. They're all selling pizza. What sets them apart is actually obviously the disparity in prices and then customer service. So now, are my staff, on providing the level of customer service that now provides repeat customers, repeat business, and then of course leads to increased income? Because, like I said, customers have options, and if customer service is going to be your downfall, like that's something that's simple that can be fixed.
Right.
And then, of course, as you advance and go into 2023, you would want to see, okay, am I ready digitally to compete with other businesses in the same industry? Because those are some of the things that clients are looking for: ease of business, convenience. Can I go and pay this bill online versus having to come into your storefront and stand on a line? And so now we want persons to evaluate their current business structure and say, okay, what are some of the ways that I can change or improve upon my service offering? Or how can I just revamp the business? Because times are going to get harder.
Yeah.
But now it's not about the times getting harder. It's how I'm making the necessary adjustments.
You mentioned customer service, and we find this with smaller businesses, right? Where like the customer service, like, well, hey, my product is superior,
Non-existent.
and if you want it, you're going to come for it no matter what, and just take it, right? Because this is the best, and who cares? And you won't find that so much with the bigger companies because they seem to be a little more focused. We'll get rid of that employee who said that to you. So when you see that, and we experience that a lot here in the Bahamas, like, who cares? You like this food, right? So what do you do? I mean, and customers like, I really am not going to go there anymore. I really do love that, but I can't deal with them.
Yeah, so the thing is, of course, they have this adage that the customer is always right. I'm a customer in some instances, and I do think that sometimes the customer can be wrong. But for sake of, this example, Right. So there are so many in today's society. There are just so many different stressors that we have to deal with before we come in contact with the end user of the business, right? So you may have just dropped in a pothole before you walked into my establishment, and now your tires busted, your rim. So you're just having an overall bad day. And then comes the brand rep or the service rep, and they're just nonchalant, not well informed about your products. They're having an off day as well, and so that kind of just triggers the overall customer service experience. So now, how do you're saying, how do business owners kind of I guess, rectify this situation? Well, it comes with
And
training.
sometimes the business owner is the problem.
And sometimes
too,
the
right?
business owners are the problem, because you call for the manager in some instances and they come out of the back and
Making
you're
it
like,
worse.
whoa.
Right.
Like, I see, so it's a ripple effect in this company. And so how do you now mitigate, any loss in business and stuff like that? Like I said earlier, it comes with training, but as well as, doing is something simple like even just weekly check-ins, morning, it makes so much of a difference for staff to know that they're in a place that's not only conducive to working, but that, management cares about your overall well-being. Ken Ron could have just had a rough time. Maybe his, someone in his family may be sick, or you just don't know the different stressors that individuals are faced with on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And so just being a more compassionate or empathetic company. And then, of course, monitoring the different stress levels. Like I said, certain situations can lead to burnout. So is this company now, one of the things that we're looking to implement with our staff, when we celebrate, actually next week we're celebrating Stress Awareness Day within the organization.
Oh, wow.
So on November 2nd, it's actually National Stress Awareness Day.
Is it really?
Yes.
Okay.
So look that up. There's some cool holidays that we don't right. So we don't
Can
know
I
about.
take the day off on the national?
No, you can't.
Oh, boy.
We want you to be aware of the things that stress you out. We don't want you to run away from it. So we don't want you
He's
to take
acutely aware of things that stress him out in the morning.
so.
Right. And so honestly, like Ken, Ron, and Preston don't know everything that I have planned for them. But on that particular day, we want to create this, more just relaxed environment.
Okay.
And so these are some of the approaches that employers can take to actually ensure that, my staff they're treated well, they're respected, they're appreciated, and they're valued.
You say
and
what,
so,
November 2nd?
November 2nd.
Okay.
Yeah. And you would want to wish that you're one of our team members on that day. We have, just to give you a little snippet, we have someone coming in to do like little mini massages, 15-minute
Can I
intervals.
just drop by? Or
You can drop by.
Yeah.
They're gonna slip you all into bedroom slippers as you come through the door.
Wow.
Right? And so these are just some and small but impactful ways that employers can take, go the extra mile to make sure that staff feel valued, feel appreciated, and of course this translates now into their service.
Yeah.
And, the way that they handle the customers, especially those who are on the front end.
Yeah,
Now,
excellent.
is that something that was covered during the set series, like customer service?
Customer service was covered during the set series, but even larger than that, if I may just piggyback on some things that Michael has said, one of the things that in our advisory services, one of the things that we try to, one of the things that we actually do is we get into the business. We look and we try to assess what is the level of customer service in the business. So at varying intervals, you may have a representative that from the SBDC that goes on a secret shopping mission, that comes into your business establishment and sees what the service levels are to make sure that the customer service representatives are giving receipts, that they're greeting the clients well, that they're knowledgeable about the products or the services that the company wants to offer. And if there are gaps there, also make suggestions on different training programs or different training conversations that can be had with the team members or with the actual business owner themselves to kind of correct any sort of gap that may exist in the business.
Yeah. Do you see changes after that? After you?
In most instances, yes. Because every business owner is interested in improving the level of service, and by extension, expanding the customer base of their business. And once they see the correlation,
Yeah.
oftentimes you see that there's this change in their approach to customer service and so on. Another thing I'd like to add, we were talking about steps that businesses can take in these headwinds that we're facing to kind of help businesses combat some of the challenges. And I would, what Michael has said is all relevant. One thing I would add as well is looking at how you can better streamline the inventory process. So because whether or not it's a service-based business or a product-driven business, the reality is that there are certain implements that you need in order for your business to operate. If you can kind of build in efficiency to what it is that you're doing or how it is that you're providing the service, you can realize some cost savings, but also on the back end, you make the best use of your revenue. Right?
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Great stuff. Oh boy. This text. Dear
November
Lord.
2nd. November 2nd.
Right.
Woosah.
Okay, so this person, they work for a small firm. They're giving some downtown. The employer treats staff as if they're subhuman. Boy, so that makes it difficult, like what we were talking about earlier, right? To put on a smile when the customer comes in there, when this is the environment. What do you do? What do you do in a situation like that?
One of my leaders in the SBDC, she's probably sitting somewhere laughing right now, and she's going to know who she is. But I remember my first day with the SBDC, and one of the things she said to me is, in order to do this job well, you have to have passion. Passion beyond, the days that you get frustrated, the days that you hate it, the days that you sit in your car in the parking lot and ask God, why today, why here? And I think that, when you find the thing that you're passionate about, the thing that you love the most doing, or maybe you don't love the job, but there are elements of what it is that about the job that you love, you find that, and that helps you to endure. So I think you find the lesson in every situation you find yourself in. Some days it won't be easy. And it's the same thing with the entrepreneurial journey. A lot of times we have clients that have the notion that entrepreneurship is easy and that it's all sexy, and it's not. It's hard, difficult, frustrating work, especially after you've heard 1,000 no's.
Right.
But I think it's the same for a regular person with a regular 9-to-5 as it is in entrepreneurship. It's finding that sweet spot, finding the thing that you love, and continuing to work at it as hard as you can.
Yeah. No, that's great advice.
I wanted to comment on, obviously the person who texted in.
Yeah.
There are, sometimes we find ourselves having to make the tough decision, obviously, just to take on roles or jobs that are very far-fetched from our personality and, our personal values and morals, because we want to honor our commitment to be able to feed our families and, do the things that we like. So sometimes, in that instance, you may find yourself working for a company where you feel as though you may not be a good fit in terms of the corporate culture, but it's just a job. And so to comment to that particular user, hang tight until you can find a better, more conducive environment.
Yeah.
But I'll share a very brief story. When I was in college, I had a professor that would just come into class and always just start his lecture. And I would always say, good morning. And because, I'm from the Bahamas, and he's just like, he looks over at me. The first time I did it, he looked at me, and then he continued with the lecture. I think it was about maybe 2 classes before the end of the semester that one day he came in and said, good morning, students. And I was just like, hold on. Did I miss? I'm checking my notes, like, is there a test today? And after the lecture, he came over to me and he said, every single time I came in the store, you said good morning. And I was so annoyed. And he said, he actually, I think he may have went and just checked to see where I was from and stuff like that. And he was like, I don't know, it was just something that made a difference. And so now, I feel like I have to convey that respect and now say good morning back.
Yeah.
And so sometimes
I hope he's still doing that.
I hope so as well, because this was years ago.
Class.
And so sometimes you have to
Yeah.
be the change
That
that
is
you
interesting.
want to see. You may have a boss that I know that there are some men too that, because just of the domineering personality trait, they feel that they don't want to get so personal in the workplace, because then they don't want you to feel that we're friends. You're here to do a job, and so I portray this just good morning, that strong demeanor. But then sometimes you just have to be the change that you want to see. Maybe she's the person that will help him to be a better leader, or to become more considerate and empathetic when it comes to his staff. Maybe that's just his way. I know she said on, I think, Bay Street, right? So there
They gave some more information, but if I say it out loud, I think everyone will know where this person works. But downtown somewhere.
Right, and I say that to say, because a lot of those business owners, you would find that they're like Indian or different nationalities. So the way that we, even though we may have personal issues, we put on our face, and as Bahamians, we come in and our parents told us, manners and respect will take you around the world. So we say good morning, we say good afternoon, but there are some persons that they're just accustomed to starting what it is that they have to say to get their point across. So I'm just, offering her a little bit of advice, maybe be the change in the workplace that she wants to see until that time that she can find, a more comfortable work environment.
Yeah. Michael's advice is great. My advice, Chester's advice, is all of you look for a new job at the same time and quit the same time.
I definitely piggyback on what Michael is saying too. It's more on the aspect of sometimes people may not know how they come across, or may lack that self-awareness as a leader. And I do see in terms of some folks' entrepreneurial journey is that they're so engulfed in the business aspect of it, how the product or the service, make sure that's good and that's right, but they lack the actual managerial side. That tends, if they depends if they expand their business to now have employees, how does that come across that you can't put your hands in all the parts, or you can't have your hands on everything, you have to now trust your team. So it's in that regard too that they may lack the knowledge in that.
Some owners hire those types of people to manage this.
That is actually a great point, because during the SAT series, we talked about the fact that every entrepreneur needs a team. So self-awareness is like one of the most important, I think, features of any person, but especially any entrepreneur. So, being self-aware and understanding that you may not be a people person, or that your personality type is one that's very curt or short.
Right.
Understanding that, realizing that maybe I need my team is expanding, my business is growing. Maybe I need to get someone in here that can manage the people-facing aspect of what it is that we do, and that may go beyond just HR to even public relations, the marketing of the business, and so on and so forth. So, understanding and being self-aware to kind of take the steps that are necessary.
Yeah.
And so, undeniably so, this ties back to now the core services that, the SBDC offers in terms of our advisory and training and mentorship, because there are just some persons that you have a really good product. You can go in and make this lemonade the best lemonade in the world, but now you need someone that's going to help you with the accounting side of it. You need a social media team. You need just diversification in that particular portfolio of what it is that you can do, so that you can now focus on making the product, and the other individuals can help you actually sell and market and convey the different messaging to your customer base.
Exactly.
I want to use, on that nice piggyback point, I want to use that to implement the aspect of our training aspects and talk about a few programs as well. I'll actually let Ken Ron speak about that.
Yeah.
But want to highlight some of our current programs. That's the RCL Existing and the RCL Kickstarter program. For those of us that may need a little bit more training or a little bit more help about that, I'll let Ken Ron carry that from there.
All right, so we're going to pick that up on the other side of the break. Let's do this break, and then we'll find out about the programs and about what else you're doing for MSME Month.
Yes.
Yep, in November. All right, so a lot more to talk about with Michael Munnings, Kenron Brannon, and Preston Ferguson Jr. from 8th grade SBDC. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
Hey Lisa, I hear Fidelity's free Women Plus seminar is back.
Oh, yes, it is. My ladies and I are ready to go.
Well, I heard it's open for men too, so you know my crew and I will be there.
The highly anticipated free Fidelity Women Plus seminar will be held on Saturday, October 29th at the Bahama Convention Center as we explore solutions towards achieving financial freedom.
The Women's Plus seminar is free and includes breakfast, 8 sessions, plus over $8,000 in prizes and surprises. Registration and breakfast begin at 8 a.m. with sessions from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Space is limited, so register now for free at fbbwomanplus.com.
The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire Bahamas. To better serve you, we've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626 or 359-2394, email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com, or submit a ticket when you visit our help center at accessaccelerator.org. The Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
If you were exposed to COVID-19, have symptoms, or traveled recently, get tested so that you can have peace of mind about your status. Just visit one of our convenient locations on New Providence at the University of the Bahamas or Golden Gates Plaza, weekdays 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Eleuthera at the 3 Island Dock, Mondays through Thursdays 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Fridays and Saturdays 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sundays 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. On Exuma at the Regatta Park, weekdays 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Saturdays 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sundays 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. On Abaco at Maxwell Food Store, Mondays through Saturdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The COVID-19 test results will be ready in 15 minutes, and the tests are free.
This message is brought to you by PAHO WHO and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It is time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. Retailers are expected to have the government's recommended margin adjustments in place by the 1st of November, giving the sector 2 weeks to implement the changes in their stores. That's according to Minister of Economic Affairs Michael Halkitis. Speaking to the media yesterday, saying the body representing retailers wrote the government asking for the time to implement the changes to the new items that the government has added to the list of price-controlled goods. Meanwhile, Minister of Labor and Immigration Keith Bell says that the government will repeal the Commercial Enterprises Act put in place by the former administration, suggesting that wording in the legislation allows for the granting of work permits without proper vetting of the person being applied for. Bell making the announcement to members of the media outside Cabinet yesterday. He said he found the act, which allows for a very specific type of work permit to be granted automatically if after 14 days and approval has not officially come down from the Department of Immigration. He says this is problematic. Bell said the language in the act represents a problem for the Immigration Department because the vetting process for people applying for a work permit cannot take only 2 weeks. Read more on this in today's Guardian Business section. The government will not extend the Special Economic Recovery Zone order when it expires in December. Minister Halkitis, saying this yesterday, explained that the government does not believe that blanket exemptions work. He said those for those whose properties were affected by Hurricane Dorian and were not able to utilize the SERS while it was in place over the past 3 years. He says they will have to apply to the government for exemptions individually. He said those applications should be given priority. Acting president of the Abaco Chamber of Commerce, Daphne DeGregory Mayolis, expressed disappointment yesterday with the government's decision, explaining that the government's position will likely mean that Abaconians will have to spend much more money to try to rebuild their properties after missing out on 2 years because of the COVID pandemic and now facing supply chain issues as a result of the pandemic and the war in Europe with Russia and Ukraine, plus Hurricane Ian, which devastated parts of central Florida. And Club Med Columbus Isle on San Salvador, welcoming its first guest to the resort since it closed its doors due to the COVID pandemic nearly 3 years ago. The first 120 guests arrived via a direct flight from Air Canada. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism Chester Cooper confirmed that an additional 200 guests flying from Europe are expected on Thursday via Air Caribe. Overseas natural gas and electricity prices in Europe have plunged from summer peaks thanks to a mild winter and a months-long scramble to fill gas shortages ahead of winter and replace Russian supplies during the war in Ukraine. It's a welcome respite after Russia slashed natural gas flows, triggering an energy crisis that has fueled record inflation and a looming recession. But experts warn that it's too soon to exhale as European governments roll out relief packages for people struggling with high utility bills and work on longer-term ways to contain volatile gas and electricity prices that have shrunk household budgets and forced some businesses to shut down. Uncertainties include not only the weather, but how responsive people will be to appeals to turn down their heating and how much demand there will be from Asian economies for scarce energy supplies. And the war, a few hours east, is a cauldron of possible unpleasant surprises that could cut energy supplies needed for electricity, heating, and factory work and send prices even higher. Closer to home in your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Tuesday. Your market movers: Finco moving 500 shares, closing at 11.38 unchanged. Focol moving 125 shares, closing at $4 unchanged. Consolidated Water closing at $3.42 unchanged. And Emira Incorporated moving 182 shares, unchanged at 9.16. The BISX All Share Index closing at 2,624.65 unchanged. That's your Market Watch. And that is your Morning Business Report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. We are back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. We are talking with Michael Munnings, Kenron Brennan, and Preston Ferguson Jr. with Access Accelerator, Small Business Development Center, A2SBDC. And we are approaching MSME month in November, and that's what we're talking about. Before the break, we're going to get to some of the programs that you have to help MSMEs in the country, and then we'll talk about what else you have planned for the month. But Kenron, tell us about some of those. You mentioned some earlier, but what are some of the programs for those out there who need that help that Michael was talking about?
Well, I'm going to lead with one of our, I guess this is the most pressing program that we have right now, which is the RCL Kickstarter program. The applications for this program close actually on Friday coming.
Oh, wow.
And this program is built for innovative businesses in the tourism space, and it's sponsored by one of our premier partners, which is Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. And essentially, clients participate. There are 25 spots available in this particular cohort.
Okay.
So it's 25 spots in this particular cohort,
Mm-hmm.
and the participants go through an 8-week intensive training intensive. where they learn various different topics, not limited to, let me just get it up here, Bahamian market dynamics, financial literacy, personal development skills and training, legal and government procedures, and best business practices. So,
legal and government procedures, that's a whole year for that to understand that part.
but we have some very skilled facilitators, and hopefully the participants will learn and glean lots of information from the different topic segments. But at the end of this 8-week intensive, the time commitment, I think, is some 10 hours, 10 hours per week. Yes. 10 hours per week. At the end of this intensive, the expectation is that the client should have a fully functional business idea, but by extension, a fully functional business plan.
Okay.
That plan is submitted into a pool, which will be reviewed and looked at by some of our internal team members, and 8 of the 25 will be entered into a virtual pitch competition. The RCL program, unfortunately, though, is limited to only Nassau, Grand Bahama, and the Berry Islands. So participants will come from any one of those 3 islands, and they'll be able to participate in the pitch competition virtually. And the awards for the winning business ideas or business or pitch participants will be $15,000 for first place, $10,000 for the second place finisher, $7,500 for the third place finisher, and $5,000 for the fourth place finisher. And all of these awards will actually be broken down into grant and loan combos. Right?
That's amazing. That's amazing. Friday's the deadline.
Friday is the deadline. We have about 12 persons already enrolled.
Yeah.
So there is space. So anybody that's interested, anyone that thinks that their business is innovative and they think that there's a space for them, they can go ahead and jump on to our website and sign up to participate.
Now, this is sponsored by RCL?
Yes.
So it's not something that RCL is looking for these types of businesses to partner with? Or?
I would say that there is an opportunity outside of the pitch competition for these clients to maybe be featured by RCL on their cruises and in other other marketing opportunities. So there is this opportunity for the participants to actually.
You were all talking about this before a few weeks back.
Yes.
This is the one with that you have to be tourism based,
tourism
right?
based.
Right. Okay.
Right. So the Kickstarter is actually more geared towards startup businesses in the tourism space. So we want your most innovative ideas that you want to bring to this particular market segment.
Yeah.
But there's also the RCL regular program, which you actually are alluding to now, which is more built for existing businesses. So in that program, clients can access up to thank you, Preston, up to $15,000 in funding through the regular program, the RCL regular program. There isn't the learning requirement attached to this particular program. The clients actually will submit the required documentation, and then it would go directly into adjudication. So there isn't a direct training dimension to the regular program.
Okay. You mentioned something, that's a whole show. Maybe we'll do this in the future, but market dynamics in the Bahamas and what exactly that means. And because people really talk about what they feel and what they think and what they, right? But do they really have any information and understanding of what happens here? Because people say, oh, this business is going to do well. And some of us look at it and say, no, I'm not here.
No.
Don't you know that the people around here don't do this and this is right? But people, like we all seem to be functioning in some different universe.
One of the most requested services of the Access Accelerator is actually access to market data, so market research. So there is this real hunger for data amongst entrepreneurs to try to understand the market that they're in. What are the new trends in data collection and so on and so forth. We recognize this, and we have undertaken a few pilot programs where we're trying to actually dive in and create this database for market data for different entrepreneurs, for different kinds of businesses. But what this program seeks to do is to teach the entrepreneurs how to go out and actually gather market data for yourself, and how to analyze that data, and how to now take that data and superimpose it onto your business, whatever the model may be, or even where to go and look for the data. Because a lot of times we have now, with some of the reporting requirements that businesses have, we have access to information, but the challenge is, where do we go to find it? So these courses, or this particular course, is intended to kind of help people with both scenarios.
Excellent. All right, so maybe one day we'll go a little bit deeper on that on the show. All right, so we have a few minutes left. So what's going to be happening during the month? How will you be celebrating MSME month? And we know this leads into, you have a lot of exciting things in December, but tell us about all of this and how it's connected.
So during the month of November, we are extremely excited to be, of course, spearheading this initiative in conjunction with the Ministry of Economic Affairs. And our calendar of events, I have it right here. So we start off on the 5th with a brunch and business series in Andros. So for those business owners, they'll come together on a Saturday morning, and it's like, kind of like a brunch and learn experience where we can teach them about certain topics, marketing, helping them with their financial statements, different.
Which part are you
stuff
going to
like
be
this.
in?
Sorry?
Which part of Andros are you going to be in?
I think Mastic Point.
Okay. all
Yes.
right.
And on the 9th, we will have the master meetup in Eleuthera. So for those business
Are you going
owners in-
throughout the country?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Well, particularly, we try to touch each island specifically where there's an SPDC representative or a local SPD office. And so in Eleuthera, we'll have something called the master meetup. So those persons will meet at the Eleuthera office for kind of a more of an informal session, but we want to kind of foster that relationship and a networking opportunity for those business owners.
Okay.
And then on the 10th, locally, we'll have an official mix and mingle. So this will probably be like one of the largest corporate mixers that you would find, because as I said, it's not open only to SBDC clients, but as well as business owners throughout the country. And so they're going to gather and be able to network. We'll have a keynote speaker, and then, of course, just open that particular time for more of a mix and mingle setting. On the 17th, we have the Long Island Business Outlook. So this will be the final business outlook for 2022. So that's exciting. Put on in part by the Counselors Limited. On the 18th in Abaco, we're going to have Mix, Mingle, and Market. And so those business owners will have an opportunity to showcase their products and services to the Abaco community. Of course, they're still in bounce back mode. And so this would be something that is more exciting and gives them the boost that they need to kind of continue what's happening there. On the 22nd, locally, we're going to have a forum. And that's one of the highlight events of the month. It's called All Access, the Future of All Access, the Future of MSMEs.
Okay.
And this particular forum will be virtually as well as in person at the Warwick Hotel on Paradise Island.
So that's the 22nd?
The 22nd of November. So we will have panel discussions, TED Talk style presentations. That's going to be exciting, and you all are invited. It's free.
Okay.
And so on the 26th, we will have our small business showcase. So this is something that we would typically do in the month of December, which would be called the Christmas Showcase. But because there's so much going on in November in honor of MSMEs, we wanted to kind of shift that. And this will actually be held on what is known as National Small Business Saturday.
Wow.
So
right after Black Friday.
Correct.
And so people will be in the shopping
You got
mode.
it. Okay.
You have the right there. You see it.
And on November 28th and 29th, we cannot forget the Second City. So there'll be the Grand Bahama Business Expo. And of course, something I'm so excited about, closing out the month on the 30th will be a National Honors Ceremony. And this is where we're going to kind of bridge that gap between business owners and entrepreneurs who would have paved the way across certain industries for these up-and-coming businesses, such as our SBDC clients and, other young entrepreneurs that are making strides in their various industries. So
Excellent.
that's something exciting.
So the calendar's booked. You got
It's
a lot
booked.
going on.
We're booked and busy.
Yeah.
But we definitely say to make sure that you keep up with all our social media platforms.
Correct.
That's Access Accelerator on everything. And also, if you need a bit more information or need a bit more help, I always encourage folks that you can call us all the time at 359-0626 or WhatsApp us at 359-2394 or call us on 461-SBDC.
Okay, exciting stuff. Thank you for coming here this morning and telling us all about it. November is going to be a lot of fun. Michael Munnings, Ken Ron Brennan, and Preston Ferguson Jr. with 8th grade SBDC. A great conversation this morning. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Chester, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
See you next week. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend Business, brought to you in part by the OWN Foundation, which regrets to inform you that due to health and safety protocols, OWN Talks Thrive 2022 will be postponed. The OWN Foundation will honor all reserved tickets on a new date to be announced. They look forward to hosting you and inspiring future and current entrepreneurs to thrive on the new date to be announced. Stay tuned for Morning Blend tomorrow morning. Stay tuned now for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
I just link up with this beautiful young lady, and she say she in love with me. She say even my internet making sense. When she come over, she say my signal strong, my movies ain't glitching, and when she use her computer, everything was smooth. The only problem is, I let her meet me by my boy house that day, and he got that BTC fiber internet speed bump.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC. Link up.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Have you been planning to upgrade your bathroom or go big and update